I don't care what kind of Scooby-Doo animation is thrown out there. You know, even if it looks like a really nice, big, huge, animated, you know, for example, let's say hurricane of some sort. The worst thing that it has been said that you can possibly do is leave your houses, you know, just go off and leave them, no matter what they say, because I think we all know which media or kinds of media, you know, do nothing but tell total lies. Well, what better way to get someone to abandon their property so that it can be taken over, or at the very least your vehicles and all your belongings and everything inside, you know, done to just permanently damage you. Anyway, I've already put all that stuff out there. Just please be consistently vigilant and just don't drop your guard. All right, now on this current, let me just put it this way, on this current situation where this, you know, whomever landed wherever, talking about, you know, whatever forces landed at whatever strategic, you know, clandestine agency sites in the U.S. or whatever. I know we all want to hear that, but people, let me just tell you, I have, that would be great, but I also have to be honest until, and I'll say it again, just like I did just the other night in a segment I did, until I see something, I mean, even if they had some kind of video available that showed all these people in cuffs and at a particular thing behind a fence or location or wherever, I'm going to need for me, a little more convincing than that. If they come up and say, okay, they've already been all taken care of, the indictment's handed down, the rest have been through, such and such, 20-something hundred Army personnel and Marines, or the Navy stormed the whatever from the river or the sea or whatever today and neutralized this particular site. Those things are nice to hear, but until you get irrefutable evidence and proof that that has actually happened, and I find it difficult because I know none of the mainstream media want to do that, especially with who owns them or controls them. But even so, something like that's pretty major, and not a word is a little suspicious. But let me give you another gauge that you can use. Use me. You know, if any of you, the few people that are familiar with my story, people, I'm probably, although I don't want to say so, well, let me give you an example. If there was someone that nobody had heard of because they really didn't want to be known, but nobody had heard of, but yet they had been just put through, not the ringer, but several ringers, like every day for 7 years running, yeah. And you know that if their story, well, let's just say that probably that person's story wouldn't, there's some that probably wouldn't want them to mention too much of that. You know, so if you can surmise, all right, that being said, You know, I have several low flights of helicopters over my apartment building where I dwell, where I'm more or less confined to for the moment. I mean, I'm free to come and go as I please, but you know, they have more than one way of confining you. Besides being split from my family involuntarily, because we don't want to be, but you know, for the past going on 6 years now, because of something that they did, and they know what it is. Taking everything that we own, grand larceny, I mean, the list is endless, people, what these people did to me and my family. Anyway, they constantly, it's like, I'm so sick of the word and the activity of surveillance, it's not even funny. I can't even describe it. Anyhow, that being said, so every night, especially within 30 to 60 seconds of me turning on a device or my computer or whatever, here they come. And that has not stopped in 7 years. And if anything, because, you know, well, let's just put it this way. A lot of their shill accounts that are online up on popular video sites, you know, I think you know which one I'm referring to, you know, have stolen so much of my material, because I usually only try to get things up there, and I have to now, because all of it was being stolen. They would use it to, because it's, I'm very creative, they know that, so they've used me pretty much to farm me for ideas, business ideas. I've seen endless things of mine developed and followed through with. I can't tell you how many times I've seen my material in major motion pictures and TV commercials. And yes, everything lines up. Long story short, the shills, and there's one and or two actually in particular, but one especially, that for some reason, just right after because I only used to put it in memoirs. Now, you know, I have to kind of, if I really want to keep it for myself, I have to get it out there right away. Their record time frame is 1 hour. Normally it's about a day. But this is what they have done. And I'm going to narrow it down 50% for you. So it's a he. So he knows who he is. I contacted him several times, flooded at the time every single recent video he had. I even put a contact number for him to contact everything. He said, you know what, be a man, let's talk. Not one response. And I spelled out every single thing that, well, pretty much if he's getting his material from, because he's aware now, he knows now, his handler was given to him, which of course I'm sure they were getting from the flyovers. Well, they use that to lure the people in because it's interesting, and then he uses that and then he steers you a wrong way to make sure that you're steered in the wrong way of, you know, per their agenda or in support of their agenda. Anyhow, you know, this, getting back to this current event stuff of whoever landed where, and, you know, one can only hope that that stuff is true and things are going in a positive direction. But as I said before, I've had way too much experience with these. I don't call them humans because they're just way too damn evil to be called human. You don't want to know what I call them, but they're just, I just call them beings. Nothing more, you know, trust me. But, you know, I've had way too much experience with these people. I've stared them right in the face If you look at my part of the story called How I Was Attacked, you'll know just how much I stared them in the face. And I just, really want nothing more than them just to leave me alone, just me and my family alone. But because, well, let's just say because of my awareness of that now, and I see what I see going on, I have to say, please be vigilant, people. Please be cautious. Don't drop your guard. I know you want to hear stuff. I do too. But the habit is when you drop your guard, when you hear something good, a lot of people tend to drop their guard and say, oh, great. Okay, we can go back to our normal way we were doing stuff before. You cannot do that. Things have changed, and they've changed forever. If you don't want to do it for you, do it for your kids and their kids and their kids and your future families. Because it is your responsibility now. You have to stand guard. Because apparently, as I called and found the other day, your National Guard doesn't work for you anymore. So just take it with a grain of salt if you have to, but stay vigilant. Don't drop your guard. And until you see something that's definite, just let that go in one ear and out the other. I don't care where it's coming from or not coming from. Like I said, I've just had, okay, I'm sorry. There's so much to say, but I'm going to end this now. When I said use me, meaning use me as another gauge, like if, okay, well, that source is dependable, but that's not, or whatever. Forget about my source. Just take my word on this. I would have thought that something would have changed, at least in the frequency or the numbers or whatever of the flyovers, and they have to, because that's the way they keep their surveillance and control going. But that has never changed. That has not changed one bit. You would think if, somebody's headquarters gets stormed and everybody's under siege and taken out, you would think that would change as well. But ironically, and quite frankly, the plants that they have planted in here in this place where I dwell, which is an apartment building, so to speak, but there's no change in the behavior of those individuals, especially their choke point, the main one. And there's no change. And in fact, actually, it's been stepped up, actually, because of, who knows, whatever reason. Maybe they, maybe a little something happened, but not a lot, and they think I had something to do it, which is completely false, but maybe that's what they think. So if that's any help to you, the frequency and flyovers of me personally, if you want to use this as a gauge in trying to decipher your truth, please feel free. And I will tell you this, the frequency in their surveillance on me has not changed at all for the better. In fact, it's only been stepped up, and I'm just sick of it. Because I've not done a thing except, had every single thing that me and my family own taken from us, from grand larceny. The list is endless. But anyhow, that's in my story. Please take care, people. I love each and every one of you. God bless your families and yourself, and stay safe out there. Be vigilant. Take care.